Okay, we're in the Course in Miracles today. We're going to be on chapter 30, which is the new beginning. A new beginning. So we're going to do the new beginning. We're going to do what are we going to do? New beginning. The new beginning. So we're going to talk about how do we make it new going into this next period of time that we're going through. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to really act according to what the Course in Miracles says that new means. And new means different. Mm-hmm. So when I say I want to have a new beginning, what I'm saying is I'm ready to have a different experience of my experience. So that doesn't mean the same old thing I've always done. In other words, I've always eaten cake. Now I'm going to change from chocolate cake to banana cake. And then I'm going to say that I've actually done something different. Okay, we're talking about different. That means I'm going to do it in a new way. I'm going to approach everything in a new way. So one of the ways that I decided I was going to approach my experiences, allowing all of my feelings all the time. And not judging myself for not having just my best dressed feelings. Yes. So I'm no more this being spiritual by pretending that I don't feel what I feel, which is fake. Fake enlightenment, just like fake news is like fake enlightenment, And so we're not going to do that. At least I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I'm also surrendering my life over to a higher power within me. That's the other thing. I'm tired of Earl thinking that Earl knows what's best for Earl based on what he's learned in the past from the world. Yet you're sitting up here in the world watching people act crazy, be afraid, and separate, and then saying, "What I want to do what they say. I want to do it the way this is being told. I'm being told that it needs to be done right now." So, and we all have worked with technology enough to know that technology acts crazy at my request. And I've noticed in my life that technology seems to go the craziest when I'm making the biggest leaps in consciousness. Every time I make a change, then everything around me reacts to that change. So what I'm going to do is go through the paragraph and then hit on the main point of the paragraph and go to the next one. I'm going to give it a good shot. I'm going to try to go through a whole section today, which is about 2 pages. Now, I know that's really going for it. But we said we were going to do it differently. Okay. Now, if you want to get through it, then the first thing to do is forget thinking that your understanding is important. Yeah.
Forget what?
Forget thinking that your understanding this is important. That your understanding somehow will make this work. That your understanding is a powerful contribution to the truth. It's true because I understand it. Do you understand how jets fly when you get on one? No. Actually, do you really? No. Do you watch television, but if I told you to make a television, you go, what? Do you drive a car, and if I said, do you need to understand how transmissions and motors work? You go, what? So you know your understanding is not necessary in order for you to get a result. So it's going into the next period, going into the next year, let go of, I need to understand something before it works and before it's true. What we're going to focus in on is remembering. We're going to focus on remembering what we're being told and then applying it whether we believe it or not. That's going to be our goal. The Course in Miracles says it works if you use the ideas, but you're believing it and accepting it and welcoming it doesn't have anything to do with it working. Because that's an easy path. I want to be on an easy path. So it says the new beginning now becomes the focus of the curriculum. So our new beginning becomes the focus of the curriculum, but you're going to need specific methods for achieving this new beginning. And how fast you do it depends on one thing alone: your willingness to practice every step that you're about to be told. How fast it happens depends on what? My willingness to practice every step, right? Each step will help a little every time it's attempted. So every time I attempt it, does that mean that it's going to help me a little, even if I'm not always successful, the fact that I attempted?
Yes.
Okay. Then it goes on to say, together will these, steps lead you from dreams of judgment to forgiving dreams and out of pain and fear. So if you practice these steps, you'll stop judging, you will forgive, which means you will be led out of pain and you will be led out of fear. So these steps will take you out of pain and fear.
All right.
It didn't all pain, all fear. These steps will take you past all pain, all fear. That's a pretty big statement.
Oh,
Now, then it says these steps are not new to you, but there are more ideas than rules of thought right now. In other words, you've heard this before, but they're ideas you kind of play with, but they're not the rules by which you really think.
Yeah.
Sounds good in the class. Sounds good to read. Sounds good to sit around the circle and discuss. But this has not become rule of thought. Now, what is a rule of thought? A rule of thought is a habit. So when you have a habit, it's just a thought that's ruling you. And so the Course in Miracles says, now we need to do what? Practice them a while. So how long do you practice these rules of thought until they're the rules by which you live? So how long do I practice this? Until this is what I live by. And then the Course in Miracles says we will seek to make them habits. So now you see why I said a rule of thought is a habit. It's because that's what the Course in Miracles calls. You should be in the habit of being sane.
Right, that's the default.
Yeah, that sanity, peace, and love and joy should be your default setting. Right? So it's not my default setting until I see it as a habit. I'm not seeing it as a habit until it's a rule by which I think. And it's not going to be a rule by which I think until I'm willing to practice every step. Okay. First, that was the first paragraph. Now I'm going to go through about 3 before I open it up for questions and comments, so we might get through the 2 pages.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. Because let's do it different. New year. We're going to do it different. All right? Okay. So we're going to talk about the rod. It's going to be important for you to have a rod this year.
A rod?
Yeah, a rod. The rule of decision. It's a rod. Okay? Thy rod, thy staff shall comfort me. That's what it says in the Bible. Right? So I want my rod. So the first thing you need to recognize, now if you're going to watch me, if you're following me in the book, you'll see that I'm going through exactly what's on the page, but I'm doing it in a way that's conversational and also a way that will engage your mind. Questions hook the mind, statements put the mind asleep. So that's why I'm doing it this way. So what is the one thing that's continuous? Decisions. You're making decisions all the time. Now, what is the thing about decisions that we don't realize? That you don't realize you are always making them? That I don't realize I'm always making decisions, right? But with a little practice with the decisions you recognize, if you start practicing with the decisions you recognize, A Course in Miracles says, then a set begins to form which sees you through the rest of your decisions. So if I start recognizing decisions I do make, then I'm going to also start to make unconscious decisions the same way. When I start making conscious decisions for my peace and happiness, I'll get to the point through that rule of thinking that I will make those decisions without consciously having to think to do it. When I took martial arts 1,000 years ago, they made you do these different forms over and 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 over. Anybody in those martial arts know what I'm talking about. They tell you to do the same. Why? Because you'll get to the point that you'll make those moves without thinking about them.
Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't be, if you needed to defend yourself, it wouldn't be good to go, okay, let me do exercise number 3.4. Let me remember, you got to respond instantly because you trained yourself to do that. That's the way the truth has to become. It has to become so much a part of you that you will just think this way without telling yourself you need to think this way. After studying the Course in Miracles so long, it's no longer philosophy for me. I don't analyze the Course anymore. What I do is I remember that it's a viewpoint and not a philosophy. It's a viewpoint and it's not something for me to analyze anymore. I go, God, I'm not feeling good. I need to see this differently. I don't go, I don't feel good. Now, what does the Course say? Well, it says I need to see this differently, but you see what that son of a bitch did, but you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that is not making it a rule of thought. You still have not made a decision yet about the direction that you're going to go in, right? So do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
I want to be happy.
Okay, then want to be wrong most of the time.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah. If you want, it corresponds with being truly happy as you being truly wrong. Okay, that's a biggie. So let me sit down. That's the dangerous position.
Sit down.
When I sit down, y'all want me to sit down or what?
Sit down.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I tell you, Normally this thing will, when I do, okay, there they are. All you beautiful people online, thank you for coming in and hanging around. In the future, remember that if some kind of technical difficulty, just trust that I'm going to do everything in my power to get back online. So if you stick around, I'll be coming back online, okay? Also, this is a couple of quick announcements I want to make, and I want to be reminded to make this announcement several times, which is, in 2018, I will be doing my Facebook Live from my page, no longer from my profile, which means it's really hard to remember. It's called the Earl Purdy page. Now, I stressed over the name of it for a long time to come up with a name, and that original name came up, Earl Purdy page.
Spirit always comes through.
This came through, Earl Purdy page. And what's cool about doing it on a page is that there's no limit to how many people, followers you can have. Okay. And also another great thing about being on a page is that anyone can see it whether they have a Facebook account or not.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So then people are limited to, do I have a Facebook account? Or in this case, I found that most of the time people would have to be my Facebook friend.
Yeah.
Right. So this gets rid of all this. This means that Spirit is already at the beginning of the year trying to make me more unlimited in who I can reach. Yes.
And the URL, it's facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live.
Right. That's the other thing I was about to say, which is another easy way to remember it. Facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. That's pretty easy to remember too. Earl Purdy Live. Facebook.com/ The / is really Earl Purdy Live. Okay. And so that's going to give me a chance to get a Facebook Live group. There are a lot of things that I'll get a chance to do. I have a lot more flexibility. So I'll say it again, and I'll say it many times. No longer on my page. It's going to be on my page, no longer on my profile. Earl Purdy page. Earl Purdy page on Facebook. Anybody can see it. Okay. Also, this also starting January 4th on Thursdays at 7 o'clock p.m. I'm starting another Facebook Live class. I'm no longer doing a course of love. I am doing hardcore course. That's what I'm calling it, Hardcore Course in Miracles. This Facebook Live will be aimed at people who want to absolutely know that they really want to master and do the Course in Miracles, and those who already are committed and dedicated to doing the Course in Miracles. This will not be so much an enjoyable class for somebody who's still trying to make up their mind about whether or not they want to do it. Because I'm not going to do it from a beginner level. Okay? I've done this 37 years. I'm going crazy to teach it at a 37-year level. So this class will be aimed at those who really want to get it, even if they don't know it yet, but they really want to get it. They decided this is the way I want to go. And those who have been doing it for a long time. It's going to be very book intensive. And I'm going to be using the Foundation for Inner Peace version of the course, which is the one that most people have. So I'm going to work with the one that's mostly out there because it's the one that I learned through and it worked beautifully. And that's good for all the rest of the versions. I love the rest of the versions. There's nothing wrong with having a little version. But
Thank you.
those without sense of humor, you're going to hate my classes and you will never want to watch them, okay? Those of you who are uptight and have a hard time with somebody being spontaneous, because I will not censor myself on Hardcore Course.
Yes.
Okay? I'm on the internet, I'm not in the church. So I'm going to say whatever I feel like saying, however I feel like saying it. Whoever is offended or not offended, I personally don't care. Okay? Because that's the way you should be if you're ever going to be happy in your life.
Yes.
You should stop caring about other people's opinions. It's amazing how people think their opinions matter. It's amazing. It just amazes me when people want to give me their opinion. Great. I'm open to people sharing whatever they want to share with me. What they don't have any control over is the meaning that I give it. That's up to me. So you can say anything you want to say to me, and I'll give it whatever meaning I want to give it. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Okay, you say whatever you want to say, I'll give it whatever meaning it has to me. And I would advise you to do the same thing. So the Course in Miracles says, so what page is it going to be on? Earl Purdy page.
Earl Purdy page.
And the link is www.Facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. And if you Google it, and so if you do a search on it, it's going to come up. You can't miss it. Okay. So then it says, and when does that start? In 2018. That'd be the easiest way to say it. So it starts Tuesday night with the Way of Mastery.
Tuesday night.
All of my classes in 2018. That'd be the easiest thing to remember. So let me go back, because this is a good section. It says, now, how can you tell if you're not ready? Well, you can tell if a person's not ready because the Course says, if you find resistance strong and dedication weak, you're not ready. So if your resistance is strong and you're not dedicated at all, you're not ready. Don't fight yourself. Don't stop fighting yourself.
Yes.
Don't approach your spiritual path as if you're going to battle. Stop approaching your spiritual path as if you're going, oh my God. Okay, you're on the wrong path if you start out with, oh my God, I gotta read this. Okay. But think about the kind of day you want. Think about the kind of day you want. Tell yourself there's a way in which the very day you want can happen just like that. Yeah. Tell yourself the kind of day you want, then tell yourself that you can have that day just like that. Then try again to have the kind of day you want. Now, when I first heard that, I immediately went to what was the physical material thing that I thought I wanted? Which isn't a bad thing to do. I mean, he's going to talk about that too. But now in my old age of wisdom, I realize that the kind of day I want is a loving, peaceful day.
Me too.
That it's the content that I want. So when I read what kind of day do I want a day that's a lot of joy and happiness for me. That's the kind of day I want.
Connection.
Yeah. It's content that I want. And so the Course in Miracles says the outlook starts with this. Today I will make no decisions by myself. Together? Today I will make no decisions by myself. What does that mean? Now, the mind wants to analyze that, right? If you look down at the page, what is it? What's the first two words in the next paragraph?
This means.
Oh, stop right there. Stop right there. This means. So that means it's about to tell you what that means. Okay, does that get rid of the need to analyze it?
Yes.
Yes, it does. It does get rid of the need for you to figure out what it means by that. It says this means what? When you say today I will make no decision by myself, you're saying today I'm choosing not to be the judge of what to do. It must also mean that you won't judge the situations where you find yourself called upon to make a response. It also means that if you judge everything, then you're going to set the rules for how you should react to everything. So if I judge what's going on, then I'm going to come up with the way that I should respond to what I just judged. So the Course in Miracles says, then when you get another answer other than an answer that you've made up, what's going to happen? You are going to have a lot of uncertainty, confusion, and fear. So if you made up your mind that things should be going this way, you made up your mind about what's really going on in any situation, then if God gives you an answer, or life gives you an answer, or the universe gives you an answer that's different from the one you made up, then you're going to have a lot of confusion, uncertainty, and fear. So if you're having a lot of confusion, uncertainty, and fear in any area of your life right now, it's because you've judged the situation. So if you're honest with yourself, you'll find that you're probably judging a lot of situations, right? So where do you know you're really judging the situation the most? Where you have confusion, uncertainty, and fear. Okay, so what does that mean? It means you still make up your mind and then decide to ask what you should do.
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
You make up your mind and then you ask God what to do. You decide who you should be with and then you ask God how to have them. You decide the money you should make and then you ask God how to get it. You decide where you need to move and then you ask God how to move there. You make up the decisions about everything that you think should be happening to you and then you ask the universe how to do it. So really, the Course in Miracles are saying, that ain't the way it works. He says, why? He says, because what you hear may not resolve the problem as you saw it first. And so if you hear something different from the way you have decided, that's going to lead to fear. And why do you go through fear? Because it contradicts what you perceive, and so you feel attacked. You know how somebody asks your opinion on something and you tell them and it's different from what they wanted you to say and then they get upset? That's basically what it's talking about here. You ask a question, but you've already made up your mind even when you're asking the question what the answer should be. You get another answer and then you feel, well, right? And it says, and therefore you feel what? Angry, right? And then the Course in Miracles says there are rules by which this won't happen, by which this will not happen. What won't happen? Anger, confusion, uncertainty, and fear. But this is a very important statement coming up next. Says this does occur at first. What does occur at first? Anger, confusion, uncertainty, and fear. Because at first, you're doing the opposite of what you should be doing, and you wouldn't need to learn the material to begin with. If I was already doing it correctly, I'd have no need to study. So therefore, since I know I go through a lot of anger, confusion, uncertainty, and fear, which means I've already decided how things should go, and I'm getting answers that are different from what I think it should be, the Course in Miracles very lovingly says, this does occur at first while you're learning how to hear. So you are learning how to listen. We are learning how to listen. And while we're learning how to listen, sometimes you're going to still make up your mind about how you think things should go, and then get upset when it doesn't go the way you want it to go. That is normal at the very beginning, because in the beginning we're wrong-minded in the way that we're approaching our peace. So did it say that? It says this is going to happen at first. What's going to happen at first? Who can tell me what's going to happen at first? You can say it out loud.
Fear, confusion.
Anger, confusion, and despair. Why do we go through the anger?
Because I decide first and then I ask them.
I'd make up my mind about how things should go, what the answer should be, and then when I get an answer from the universe that's different from the answer that I've come up with, I get upset. Right, very upset. Very upset, right. One of these days, you're going to become so awake and so enlightened that you'll realize the only reason why you're ever upset is because things are not going the way you want them to. That's the only reason why you're ever really upset. Is because it's not going the way you want it to. See, you got that? You got that? When I go out to a restaurant, I made a reservation and they've lost the reservation, and I get upset. I tell myself I'm upset because they lost the reservation. No, I'm getting upset because it didn't go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
If I'm going out with somebody and I have a bum date and I really, really, really wish I had never made that decision, I'm upset not because of the fact that they were boring. I'm upset because it didn't go the way I wanted it to. Okay, if I go to a doctor and I have an exam and they tell me I have some issue in my body that needs to be dealt with, I'm upset not because of that. I'm upset because of that didn't go the way I wanted it to. Okay? And so the Course in Miracles says throughout the day, at any time you think of it, that means any time you have a quiet moment for reflection, what should you do? Tell yourself again what? The kind of day you want. Tell yourself again what? The kind of feelings you want to have. Tell yourself again what? The kind of things you want to happen to you. Guess what? I do that all day. Yeah. I do this all day long. Don't you do this all day long? All day long. Think about it. All day long. And whenever you have a moment for reflection, don't you tell yourself what the kind of day you want to have? Don't you tell yourself the feelings that you want to have in some form or another? Don't you tell yourself the things you want to happen to you, especially the things you want to happen to you, and the things you want to experience? Right? Well, the Course in Miracles says, go ahead, tell yourself those things, but do you know the one thing that you need to do? You need to say, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. Did you hear the last two words? Given me. Say, this day will be given to me. Didn't say I had to earn it. Didn't say I had to pay for it. It said this day would be given to me if I would just say, after I say everything I want, if I make no decisions by myself, if I make no decisions with my ego, if I make no decisions based on the past, if I make no decisions based on guilt or fear or anger, if I make no decisions based on the idea that I'm separate from God, this is the day that will be given me. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of the last vestiges of my atheism this year. Okay,
that's great.
I am no longer in denial that something created me, and that I didn't create myself. I'm tired of that one too. I'm tired of the spiritual students who don't want to talk about God.
I know.
I'm kind of over the spiritual students who don't want to talk about oneness, connecting with God, a higher power. This is the wrong class. This is the wrong book. A book channeled by Jesus isn't one for somebody who don't want to hear anything about spiritual principles.
Yeah. Or Jesus.
Or Jesus. And in which Jesus himself says in the Course in Miracles that it really doesn't matter. You don't have to believe in Jesus in order to benefit from the Course. The Course says that. Jesus says that in the Course. But it also says, I'd help you out a little bit more if you did, though. Sort of the way we are. Okay. Which makes perfect sense.
Right.
You know, I can help you, but if you believed I existed, I could probably help you more. See, you know, if you didn't believe Earl existed, it wouldn't make sense to come to the class. Earl could help you more because you believe Earl exists. Right. But it doesn't mean that the things I say couldn't be helpful to you even if you didn't believe in me. Right? But who do you think I'm going to help out the most? The person that's in total denial or the person that's saying, hey, would you help me? not that you not helping, wouldn't be willing to help the person that's not asking for your help, but it would make a lot more sense to first help the person that's asking for it. Right? So I would invite you this year to promise yourself you're going to get over it. That you're willing to get over your programming about God that you got as a child, because that's the only thing that we are probably rebelling against is what we learned as a child, which is good. If there was a fearful connotation of spirit and you are saying, I no longer want to believe in a fearful God or a fearful creator, that is great. That's not a negative thing, but don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Don't throw out the whole idea that you didn't create yourself and you have a creator and invisible forces that can help you just because you learned some insane beliefs when you were a kid. I would invite you to do that. But you know why I'm not attached to that the way I would have been in the past? Because I know that God is with you and that you are evolving at your speed that works best for you. And so everybody has to come to the conclusion of the truth sooner or later. And everybody's doing it in their own way. So you don't have to worry about your friends and relatives. You're not so special that God only made a voice for you. Right, yeah, right. You're not so special that the universe spirit is not there for your cousin. My cousin Bubba. Okay, all right. Bubba. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm sure. Okay. So it says these two procedures. What two procedures? Telling yourself what you want to experience, and then telling yourself if you make no decisions by yourself, then the day will be given you. These two procedures practiced how? Well, will serve to let you be what? Directed without fear. So if you practice this, God can direct you, Spirit can direct you, but you won't be afraid. Why won't you be afraid? Because opposition will not first arise and then become a problem in itself. See, most people get stuck on their spiritual path because they're battling with the opposition that comes up between what the truth is saying and what they believe. And so the Course in Miracles says that, so then your problem becomes the battle that you're having within yourself about what you're hearing. Rather than, okay, this is what I want, and if I make no decisions by myself, then I can have it. See, that's what I want to focus on, not all the internal battles that I'm going through about my opposition from my belief system versus what this is saying.
Right.
Then it says, but there will still be times when you've already judged. There will be times when you've already judged, Raj. Now the answer will provoke attack. Yeah. You get angry because Spirit gave you a different answer unless you do what? Straighten out your mind. Every time I hear that, I always see my mind on an ironing board. I don't know why, but I just see my. And so the Course in Miracles says, well, how can you straighten out your mind? Would you like to hear?
Yes.
The way that you can straighten out your mind is just want an answer that will work.
That's not right.
That's how you straighten out your mind. You go, I want an answer that will really work. He says that's how you straighten out your mind. Be certain that this has happened. What has happened? You are in opposition because you've already made up what the answer should be, and maybe you're hearing something different than your answer. The Course says, you be certain this has happened if you feel yourself unwilling to sit by and ask to have the answer given to you. So how do I know if I've already made up my mind about how things should go, and then I'm trying to ask God to work it out the way I want to? I didn't ask for guidance in the first place. I didn't ask for God's will in the first place. I didn't ask for help before I decide, okay, I want to have a relationship. I want to ask for guidance in how to have the correct perception of relationships. See, that's what a conscious person would do. They would always ask for guidance first. Oh, I'm getting ready to choose this pair of pants. Spirit, which one of these pair of pants should I get? I'm getting ready to buy a car. Spirit, what would be the best car? When Helen Schuckman, who was the channel for the Course in Miracles, was channeling the Course and she was getting this internal dialogue, it used to be a trip because when she would go out, Jesus would tell her what clothes to buy. Yeah. And then she said, well, why? I said, because it'll save time. And so I've heard people, and since I've been doing the Course in Miracles for over 35 years, I've heard met so many Course in Miracles students, and I've heard some have this real issue about you asking for guidance about things in the world. Mm-hmm. Oh, you just making the illusion real. You making it real too. You ate this morning.
Yeah.
So I want to hear what you're telling me. Okay, you putting gas in your car? Yeah, aren't you going to work tomorrow? Yeah, well, you think your illusion is real too.
Yeah, for real.
So why you want to pick on mine? You still do things. When you no longer have to eat or drink, come back and talk to me. That's what I always tell people in my mind. You know, in my mind. Because I know what to say to people in my mind and what not to say to them with my mouth. That's part of it. Like, should I say it? Jesus said, no, Earl, don't say that. You know what you want to say to them, but don't say it. But you're innocent if you do. Okay. So notice that the Course in Miracles keeps talking about answers being given to you, the things that you want being given to you. So the next level of consciousness is not a level of consciousness that's based on paying and earning. It's a level of consciousness that's based on gifting. It's a level of consciousness where things are gifted to you. That's the next level of consciousness. It's not the one where you're paying and earning. That's the old level. You learned that from the day one if you came into the world. So that's not a higher consciousness perspective. I don't remember ordering life. I just feel like I showed up and I had life. Right? So the truth is, my life was a gift. So don't tell me I can't receive gifts. You have the gift of life. Okay, some of the ego mind that comes up with paying and earning. How does it? No pain, no gain.
No, hell no.
Yeah, no pain. That's the stupidest placement saying I've ever heard. And I hear people say that all the time. Then they complaining when they're in pain. Which doesn't make sense either. If you think life should be a struggle, then what are you complaining about? Right. If your life is a struggle, you ought to be going right on.
Just get on.
I trying to get on. Pain, no gain. No gain. Boy, this relationship hurts me. Right on. This job causes me a lot of pain. All right. But I don't see people in pain doing that. But they'll be the same people that tell me no pain, no gain. All right. So the Course in Miracles then says, and you notice I keep saying the Course in Miracles says, because I didn't write the book, so don't take it personal. Don't be coming at me about I'm just a facilitator. I'm the messenger. I didn't, the male person nowadays. You don't know what's politically correct. The male person, the post person.
That's like the person after they died.
When I get some bad news, I don't go mug them.
Yeah.
Because they were just the messenger. They just delivered the mail. They're not responsible for it. I'm delivering a message. I didn't write it. Okay? So don't get upset with me. That's why that's why I ask people to go through the book with me, because they'll see that I'm just sitting up here trying to bring what it's saying to life. Yeah. I'm not giving you my interpretation per se. I'm just, if you look down, I'm just saying what it's saying in a way that maybe you can hear it. And to me, that's what a translator does.
Thank you.
A translator just tries to get the content across in a way that doesn't change the basic meaning. Yeah. You're not here to hear Earl Purdy's interpretation of A Course in Miracles. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not interested in yours any more than you're interested in mine. Right? So that's important to keep in mind, because everybody's got a different perception and all of them are equally valid. Okay? So the Course in Miracles says, but the thing that's a trip about studying it for so long is that the longer you study it, the simpler you'll see that it is. Because it's as complicated as you need it to be to understand it. Too simple at the very beginning is too much for most people. They can't handle simplicity when they're new to the Course or anything. So in the beginning, it'll sound like, God, this is the most complicated. Oh my God, I don't understand this. But that's because that's the level you need it. Because the simplicity of it would freak you out, because then you just have to admit you don't want to do it. See, if it's complicated, I got a great excuse for not doing it. If it's simple, then I just have to admit I don't want to do it. Right. It's too simple to say, This is what I want to happen to me today if I make no decision by myself. This is the day that will be given me. Oh, I've gotten upset. That means I already had an idea in my own mind about the way that things should go. Oh, there's a way that that won't happen. So, okay. Any questions or comments or takeaways about what I've said from this so far? And it's ridiculous. I will not finish the whole thing. It's not going to happen. Okay, not today. You first.
I still have to say that, you know, I have real trouble in hearing. You know,
sit closer.
Want me to put the microphone back there? We got another mic. Yes.
In trusting what I think I'm hearing. I mean, I still do.
And that means you're overlooking the instructions that the Course itself gives about how to learn it, which is you need not believe it. See, the trust is right with you thinking you need to believe it, that you need to welcome it, that you need to accept it. And what the Course in Miracles is saying to us is that what you need to do, first of all, is hear it. And that's what I really want to do. That's what I see my purpose as for people who are going to especially tune into the hardcore course. My goal is going to be to allow people to actually hear what it says. Because what I found is that in the beginning, very few people who study the Course in Miracles have actually read it. So therefore, they never let themselves hear what it said. That they actually start analyzing it before they even have read one single page of it. Because the ego part of their mind, that old programming, knows that this material is deadly to your pain, it's deadly to your fear, it's deadly to your sense of not being enough, it's deadly to your separation from God. So it knows that that part of your mind knows that the easiest way to preserve itself is for you to believe you need to believe it at first, for you to believe you need to accept it, that you need to trust it at first. And since you know that there's a part of you that doesn't trust it and doesn't want to hear it, yet you continually come practically every week, would have to mean you really do want to hear it. So the part of you that wants to hear it is going to win because it's bringing you here even when you don't want to come. Something's bringing you here even though you'd rather be somewhere else. And that happens with a lot of people, I'm sure, in here. You come, and just time you come and you go, I don't even know why I came. And then you leave and go, I don't even know what he said. And then people ask you about the class and you go, well, you just ought to come. Because you can't really tell them anything. You just need to come. And what they used to do was, he's so funny, or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But that's normal. Just keep coming. Just keep coming. Did you have your hand on this?
Yes, I really appreciate the instruction to continually ask what needs to happen, what Spirit wants for me to say, what Spirit wants me to do. And then it's my responsibility to keep myself open to then let myself be guided by that instruction, like follow through with it. Because sometimes I'll maybe hear something and I don't agree with it, or it doesn't fit my agenda, and I don't know why, and so I'll not do it, and then I realize, I was being told to do that.
And don't forget that you were also told in the beginning you're going to do all the things that it said you shouldn't do.
Yeah, that's right.
So I keep telling you that it's no need to master what you've already mastered. If you already knew how to be totally peaceful and with 100% faith, there would be no need to study anything. So to continue to beat yourself up because you don't do it perfectly is crazy. Yeah. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know about you, but when I learned how to ride a bicycle, I failed and skinned my knee. I know nowadays that's like the most horrible thought. I mean, the kids are covered up with armor before they ride their bicycles. But back in the day, kids were allowed to skin their knees and stuff like that. It like happened. I'm sorry. It's kind of ridiculous now how parents think they're going to protect their kids from every single little thing whatsoever in life. It's like, God.
I'm kind of with Paris. It's easy for me in the morning to put my day on the table, and then I tend throughout the day to snatch it right back and continue to worry about it. And that, like she was saying, continually reminding yourself every day to throughout the day to leave that on the table or put it back if you snatch it. Catch yourself. That's what I've been doing.
Right.
It's catching myself, snatching it back and having to bring it. But I mean, eventually, hopefully.
Well, it's going to become a rule of thought. So if you do it long enough, your mind is going to make the decision for you.
It's hard to get over being a control freak.
Right. So don't try to get over being a control freak. Just try to allow yourself to be in control by your real self. Yeah. Let your real self be in control. That's nothing wrong. That's what the book is telling us. The you that you think you are is just a program you run in that you were given from the day you were born. People think they're themselves, but society told you when you should get married. Society told you what your morals should be. Society told you what you should believe in. And so we just act out all the stuff we were programmed with from the time that we were children, and then we say that's us. And then we wonder why we're not happy. It's because you're not being true to yourself. You're acting out somebody else's idea. That's what I always felt about fashion. It's like, why should you tell me what it's okay for me to wear? You're not buying my clothes.
Right.
And why should it matter what I choose to wear? It's what somebody else feels about me. And if that makes that big a difference in how you feel about me, thank you for being weeded out. Because I don't even want you for a friend, no way. You know what I'm saying? So so start to be true to you. Be true to you, right? I'm gonna take a couple of more.
So a lot of dialogue going on online about where we want to be in our questioning and taking responsibility. And Kathy has a great statement here. She says, it's the battle of my, me, and mine. Now I need to remember, I will simply ask God, hey, friend God, truth companion, I need help here. Thank you, Spirit. You're a cool cat.
And that's a very good statement. Let me give you a tip. The reason why you want to study a spiritual text at first, whatever that text may be for you, is because you're learning how to listen to the truth, right? So you can't hear it from within at first the way you'd like to, right? Well, then your spiritual text is telling you how to tell the difference between what's true and what's not. And so what you do is you trust your spiritual path. If, for instance, if the Course in Miracles is teaching me that if I'm in a truly real loving relationship, then there would never be someone who's trying to make me feel guilty or trying to attack me, then I know what the voice for God would tell me in that situation. It would tell me, if this person is trying to make you feel guilty, this is not the voice for God, this is not the voice for love. Because how do I know that? Because my spiritual path, in this case coming to me through the Course, is telling me that love doesn't do that. So you have your spiritual path so that you can make those decisions between what's right and what's not right for you until you learn how to hear from within yourself. And then eventually, you will internalize this to the point you can hear the voice for God inside yourself. That's very important. There's no point in having a spiritual path if you don't honor its guidance.
That's right.
So it's always to people, how can I tell if it's the Holy Spirit? Well, then what does your spiritual path tell you? Did your spiritual path say that the voice for God would never condemn you? Is this voice condemning you, telling you you're not enough? Did you obey? Then you go, this is my ego. Right. But if I didn't have a path that I was studying, if I didn't have some level of instruction that I was teaching, then I wouldn't know the difference. I'd still be doing what I used to do in the past, make it up as I go along. And you know how that works. You know, if you really want something, you're going to say, God told you could have it.
That's right.
Right? You're going to say, you're going to go, well, it was the Holy Spirit that told me I should quit my job. Then why are you standing on the corner with a sign? But you just didn't want to be in that job. So you told yourself the Spirit told you to quit. Right? But then I would go, well, do you feel absolute peace about that, Earl? Do you feel absolute peace? Because the Course says if you getting your guidance, you're probably going to feel a certain degree of peace about that decision, and you would be willing to accept responsibility for the results of the decision, so that even if you ended up on the street corner, you'd be at peace about it because you assume full responsibility for the decision that you made. Because that's what my path taught me it would be like. You see what I'm saying? So at the beginning, you need a spiritual path. It doesn't have to be the Course in Miracles. It can be anything that your spirit is guiding you toward. But if you're totally confused and you're not satisfied and you wish your life was different, you need to stop listening to yourself with a little s. You need to stop listening to yourself and you need to listen to yourself. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's deep.
So, and several people are talking about how that self and how it's really touching the heart. So you got an online threat. It's Kim says, Earl, I'm going to run in that room and mug you with a big hug.
Well, I don't mind a mug hug or a hug mug. Oh my God, it's a mug hug! Oh my God! I dare you. I dare you to do it. Because this is my year of feeling and affection.
Yeah.
This is the year I'm getting out of my head. You know, it's like I want some heart energy.
Yeah.
You know, because I found out you can get your consciousness and your mind all expanded, right? And you can quote every metaphysical, spiritual concept, but then you can't accept and receive any of the love that comes to you because you haven't learned how to open your heart and your feeling nature the way you have your mind. So you can quote all these things, but if somebody want to hug you, you freak out. Because your capacity to receive heart energy or affection is not up to your level of being able to intellectually quote paragraph 5 of chapter 6. You know, that's funny, but there's so many people like that. They can quote this book better than I can, but you don't feel nothing coming from it except intellect. Just the intellect, because they're afraid of their bodies. A lot of people get into the Course in Miracles because they're afraid of their bodies. So when they hear that you're not a body, it plays right into their ego because they're afraid to experience their bodies anyway. So they need something that makes them say, oh, it's just an illusion. No, you're just afraid. You know, it may be the case. Maybe the case. Maybe the case.
Yeah. If I could recap for someone makes
Let me pass this around right quick. This is my 2018 contact list. So even if you've signed before, please sign again, print and email, because I want to see who's here now. I want to let go of the past.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm interested in who's coming, who's watching now. Please go to my website and sign up for my contact list, those of you online, and please share this video on your timeline right now. Take you 10 seconds to do it. Go right over next to the comments, click share, and share this on your timeline so other people can hear it.
So just for online, if they've already gone online and signed up for your mailing list, you want them to do it again?
They don't have to.
Okay.
I'm talking about primarily
Here.
people who are here.
Okay.
Okay. Because there are going to be things that I'm going to present here that are not going to necessarily be online. Okay.
You're talking about a rule of thought as a habit.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I've been able to incorporate A Course in Miracles into my life is to speak out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in my head,
Mm-hmm.
but I say every day out loud. My intent today is to be happy. And I say it out loud so that I hear my own self-talk. It helps to reinforce what my intent is.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me to be present in the now. And I find I also ask God to co-create every thought that I have. If I ask God to co-create every thought I have, the judgment part is kept out. What I find is if I'm not present in the now, I may start judging, and then I say, okay, it's time to recreate my day, reset my intent, get rid of the judgments, because none of us have a right to judge anything. Only God does. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I believe that you manifest things faster if you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
And if you talk to yourself out loud. And now because of earphones and cell phones and stuff, Bluetooth, you can do it without singing crazy.
That's right.
You know, which I think is brilliant of the Holy Spirit, because I used to do it when there wasn't those things. Yeah, but the things that I manifest the fastest in my life, all my life, have been when I talk to myself out loud.
Right.
So you should really do that. As much as you can, talk to yourself out loud.
Okay.
You'll be amazed at the difference that will make in your experience in manifesting things. So I'm glad that you said that. So let me go a little bit further, just a little bit further before we finish up. Just a little bit further. So I will continue this until I finish it, because it is a very, very powerful section. Oh, God, I love to do this. I love to do this. It's like it feels, my whole body just relaxes when I'm letting sanity come through me. It's amazing. You ought to try it. Y'all ought to just try it. Just let some sanity come through you. And you'll feel a lot better. You can tell when you're not listening to yourself because you feel a lack of peace.
Contracted.
Yeah. It's not really difficult to know when you're listening to your ego. The easiest way to know when you're listening to your ego is your feelings.
Feelings.
Your feelings. Don't believe any of your feelings that are coming from conflict, fear, anger, and guilt. That is always your ego. That is never. Is that the Holy Spirit telling you feel like crap? That's not God. That's not love. It's not love. Love doesn't make you feel like crap. That's why if I'm feeling jealousy, I go, okay, right now I'm feeling a call for love. I like to judge. And the Holy Spirit even has that covered. The Course in Miracles even has that covered. If you like to judge, then use this judgment. It's love or call for love.
Yeah.
That's it. You got to judge. You're going to freak out if you don't judge. Go, that's a call for love. That's all you got to do. I just got to judge them. Say that they're a big call for love. That judgment won't hurt you. Then you satisfy your desire to judge, and you also don't limit yourself in the process.
Hallelujah.
That's how you do it.
Amen.
You know, and you don't have to say it pleasantly. You don't have to say it, oh, that's a call for love. You can be
call for
that's
love.
right. You can be in the traffic and go, you call for love.
Call for love.
You're coming home at 7 o'clock and you're supposed to be here at 5. That's just a big old call for love. That's what you can do.
Yes.
That's what you can do. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. So the Course in Miracles says, he says, be certain that this has happened if you feel yourself unwilling to sit by and do what? Ask to have the answer given to you, because that means you have decided by yourself, which means you can't see the question, what should I do? Where should I go? Now you need what? A quick restorative before you ask again. Just like you were saying earlier, I need a quick restorative before I ask again. Here it goes. Remember, once again, the kind of day you want. Recognize that something has occurred that's not part of the kind of day you want. Then realize what? You must have asked a question by yourself. That means you must have set an answer in your own terms. Right? Okay, I'm upset. Okay, Earl, you have made up your script. You set this in your own terms. That's why you're upset. Then you say what? I have no question. I forgot what to decide. I have no question. I forgot what to decide. So then what you doing? He says, well, then you're canceling out the terms you set. That means you will let the answer show you what the question must have really been. So what should you do? Well, try to observe this rule without delay, despite your opposition. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. That's why I do the Course in Miracles now. Maybe I don't like it, maybe I don't understand it, maybe it bugs me, but I'm still going to do it. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do in your relationships. Maybe you bug me, maybe I don't like you, but still I'm here for you, I love you, and I'm going to keep on being here for you. Right? Doesn't mean you got to always see eye to eye, but you made a decision about the relationship. Right? So the Course in Miracles then says, you've already gotten angry, and so your fear of what? Being answered in a different way from what your version of the question asked will gain momentum until you believe what? The day you want is the day when you're given your answer to your question. And you will not get it. What? Because if you got it the way you wanted it, it would destroy the day. By robbing you of what you really want. I want to be his friend, but actually that would be the worst decision I could make based on our level of consciousness of where we're coming from, right? And so it doesn't happen. So if I had gotten it the way I wanted it, it would have robbed me of the kind of day I wanted, because I wouldn't be having peace right now. Right. I'm just using these as an example. You see what I'm saying? Even though the Course is always talking about perception. Okay, but I also like to use kind of real world examples, because I see so many people decide on who they should be in relationship with in some way.
Yeah.
And you don't know that getting with that person could have been the worst thing that could ever happen to you. And so if you had got it the way you wanted it, then it would have robbed you of the very thing that you deserve. And so I'm very choosy about intimate relationships now. Because that person is going to be my primary reflection. And I'm not going to have anybody as my primary reflection that I'm using to make me feel like crap.
Right. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Me too.
I'm ain't nothing about your body. They're good to me.
No.
Because generally all bodies have the same parts anyway. They're just in different proportions. So you don't have to worry about that part. I ain't never met a person without a body. Yet. Okay. So what I'm looking for is a consciousness. I'm looking for a heart. I'm looking for where's this person's mind coming from. Where it used to be one time in my life, it was the other way around. But I was much more interested in the bodies if bodies were really rare. When you start to wake up, you go, wait a minute. I think my priority's been wrong. Right? Because all of us have bodies. But what makes us unique is our consciousness.
Yep.
That's what I want to know. How much sense you got? And if you're not treating me right because I'm asking you not to, and then I decide I'm ready to be treated right, then I'm going to give you the option to treat me differently. And if you choose to still continue to treat me the way I used to want to be treated, then I'm going to thank you for being so committed and then go somewhere else.
That's right. That's right.
That's what you do. You say, okay, I used to accept that kind of stuff because I used to feel that way about myself. I don't feel that way about myself anymore. We're going to have to deal with each other differently. And they still insist on condemning you, judging you, mistreating you. And you need to stop getting upset with them because they're giving you what you're asking for. So leave them the heck alone. Because I don't see no chain, no manacle connected from your angle. I don't see no leash on you. I don't see no chain on you, except sometimes on Saturday night. But that's your choice. I got nothing to say about it. If you don't, as long as you don't make that decision by yourself. And obviously you didn't, because somebody put the handcuffs on you. Well, anyway. I have the habit of, this nasty habit of talking to adults like adults. I know that doesn't fit in the spiritual community. You don't talk to grown folk like they're grown. You have to talk to them like they're 10-year-old children, or they get insulted. Right? Well, actually, I taught school and 10-year-olds could handle it better.
Insulting, baby, insulting.
You'd be afraid. Talking to teenagers about things were much easier than talking to adults about things, especially sex. It was ridiculous how many hang-ups adults have. Wow, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, I'm ready to know. I'm ready to have all the wisdom of the universe, but don't say condom. Help me, Lord. I'm trying to work on as fast as I can to get the hell out of this grave. I'm trying to see my innocence. I want out. Will you help me, brother? I want to be around some innocent minds. You can have fun with innocent minds. These guilty minds, you can't do nothing. You can't say nothing. You can't. It's 1,000 rules for everything you should do, how you should say it. Aren't y'all tired of that?
Yes.
Aren't you ready to feel safe, to express yourself however you feel like you need to? Right, so practice on me. Tell me all the stuff you wouldn't tell anybody. It'd be endlessly entertaining. I get a chance to smile and tell you you're innocent, but you might want to look at that differently. You might want to ask for some guidance over there. You might want to ask for God's will. So the Course in Miracles says, your fear of being answered in a way different from your version of the question asked will gain momentum until you believe the day you want is one in which you get your answer to your question, and you will not get it because it would destroy the day by robbing you of what you really want, peace and love. This can be what? Very hard to realize. See the Course in Miracles again. Said, I'm telling y'all, this can be I have a hard time listening, like my brother Peter said. Well, he says, this can be very hard to realize when what? Once you have decided by yourself the rules that promise you a happy day. So once you have decided by yourself what's going to bring you a happy day, it can be hard for you to realize that by not getting what you asked for, that's been to your advantage. That's what that's saying to me. That everything that you've ever asked for that you didn't receive, it was for your own best interest. Oh, yes. Everything you ever asked for and didn't receive is for your own best interest. Every one you've ever asked for and you didn't receive was for your own best interest. So every time I ask for anything, I let my imagination run wild. Once you get that you're innocent and you're loved no matter what, you don't censor your desires. Mm-hmm. So now I ask for what I want more freely than I ever have in my life, since I know hell isn't an option. Right. Now, when I thought hell was an option, then I was much more restrictive in my desires, because I didn't want to ask for something that I was going to think I was going to go to hell. But now that I know that hell doesn't exist except as fear, then I can ask for whatever I want, however I want it. But I always finish up with, Holy Spirit, decide for me. I always say, God, decide for me. Love, universe, whatever the term is that will be okay with your sensibilities. Okay? You need to do that and then go, oh, wow, I don't perceive my own best interest in this situation. And, oh, they didn't call me back. Oh, they're ghosting me. Oh, we made a date. They didn't show. Oh, I didn't get that job. Oh, that car loan fell through. And you go, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That would have been the car from hell.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way you get to the point that you'll look at it one day. You feel your feelings. When I make myself feel disappointed, I admit to myself that I feel disappointed. I'm not trying to pretend like I walk around all day, hey, everything is great. Oh, that's for my own best interest. You know, it's like I'll say it, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be in denial about my feelings and emotions about it.
Yes.
But I tell you what, you're going to feel better when you say, it was in my own best interest. I don't care what it is. You're going to feel just a teeny bit better if you go, and if you're in a situation that's baffling to you, that's challenging, that other people may not be going through, it's even more important to say, I don't perceive my own best interest in this situation. You don't have to try to make yourself say, I like this condition that I'm going through. I love this challenge that I'm having. This pain is wonderful that I'm going through. This sickness is something that I asked for it. No, that's not what you do. If you say the truth that gives you the most peace, and some truths don't make you feel peaceful because of the way you're interpreting it. So you might go, you know what? It looked like my marriage failed. I do not perceive my own best interest.
I don't perceive my own.
That might be the best you could do, rather than going, oh, I just know that was just a good one. That was so wonderful for me. You'll say that later. Okay, you will have, sooner or later, I guarantee you, you're going to look back on it and you're going to go, that was a blessing that happened. You will. I promise you will. Everything that you're feeling so horrible about right now, you know, even your past life, when you leave this life and you're outside of your body and you see you aren't your body and you still existing, you'll be going, damn, I'm glad that was over. You won't be going, or you'll be going, damn, that was wonderful.
That was so good.
That was so awesome. But the one thing you won't be is condemning yourself for the experience.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool about it. You know, so the next part of this I'm going to cover next week because it's going to be really, really, but it's one sentence. Well, one sentence. One thing I want you to finish up on today because I want you to be able to say this to yourself. Can you do 10 minutes?
Yes.
If you can't, that's okay. You can go. Okay. All right. He says, this can be very hard to realize that once you've decided about yourself, the rules that punish you a happy day. This decision still can be undone by simple methods that you can accept. If you are so unwilling to receive, I love that. If you are so unwilling to receive, you cannot even let your question go. If you're so unwilling to receive, you can't even be willing to look at it another way, right? The Course in Miracles says that you can begin to change your mind. With this, at least I can decide I do not like the way I feel now. I'll say it again. At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel now. I'm mad. At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel now. I'm sad. At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel now. I'm confused. At least I can decide I don't like the way I feel right now. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, that's me.
That's okay. All right. This much is obvious. You don't like the way you feel right now because you don't like the way you feel right now.
Yeah.
That paves the way for the next easy step. Having decided that you don't like the way you feel, what could be easier than to continue with, and so I hope I have been wrong. The Course says that tiny opening is enough to let Spirit come in and transform your whole experience. So I want you to walk away with this today.
Okay.
Whatever you feel, if you don't like it, say, at least I can decide I don't like it. Okay, I'm going to make a decision. What's the decision? At least I decided I don't like it. I don't like it. It's okay for you to decide you don't like something. That's what it just said. It's okay for you to decide you don't like something. So don't feel unhappy. Don't put yourself down because you say, I don't like my job. I don't like the way I see myself. I don't like my relationship with God. I don't like. It said right here in front of us in black and white. at least I can decide I don't like what I feel right now. It says that's how you begin to change your mind. So you're saying what you don't like is actually moving you along spiritually. I thought always talking about what I didn't like was negative. This book is saying, no, that's you beginning to change your mind. As long as you follow up, I don't like the way I feel right now with, and so I hope I have been wrong. So most people do part one. They're always talking about, I don't like this, I don't like that. But they don't follow it up with, and I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
See, that's the important part. Admit you don't like something, and then right after that, tell yourself, and so I hope I have been wrong. Because that creates a tiny opening that allows the Holy Spirit to function in your experience to transform the situation.
It's wrong.
If you feel bad, and if you're feeling bad, you want to go, I hope that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. If you think you're broke right now, you want to hope you're wrong about that. If you feel like your relationships are hell, you want to hope you're wrong about that. You don't want to be right and miserable.
Right.
But that's the way the ego mind is. It's miserable, but it thinks it's right about everything. A conscious being goes, oh, I don't feel any peace. I hope I'm wrong about everything that I'm feeling and seeing about this situation. So acknowledge yourself for going this far with me today. Come on now, you can do better than that. Yes. You're going to start the new year off with some enthusiasm, right? Yes. So let's do the glorious financial expression of appreciation. All right. Thank you for coming. I want to thank you all so much for coming to Unity Temple and doing the classes with me live on Sundays. I know it's easy. A lot of times it's not easy to me. Just go into the living room and do your Facebook Live, right? But there's something also about us joining together in each other's presence.
I agree.
And I want to invite more of you who are local as well as anywhere else. Let's focus on the beauty of having each other. Online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, as I am a full-time teacher, that's what I do in the world. And I thank you so much. Please go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can make a financial expression of appreciation. Also, I'm available for one-on-one sessions where I can take all these 30-something years of obsession with the Course in Miracles and bring it to the situations and circumstances that you're ready to see differently. I also have done astrology and numerology for 40 years. And I promise you, I would not be doing something for 40 years that I saw no value in. Okay, so you're not the mystery you think you are. And your life is not the mystery you think it is. And you could get intuitive psychic guidance from Spirit about your life in the easiest way for you to approach it and to go through it. It's available.
Yes, it is.
It's available. So those who would be interested in the clarity session, please go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and all the information you need for that is there. And go and sign up for the contact list so that you can be made aware of all the things that I'll be doing this year, including workshops. And you should be receiving something this week with more detail about the upcoming workshop.
Follow you on Earl Purdy Live.
Oh, yes. And also, this is the last time you will, no, the Course says you don't tell us about it, but remember only this. Remember only this. From this point forward, I will be on the Earl Purdy page doing my Facebook Live. Earl Purdy page. If you want to get the link is simply www.facebook.com/Earl Purdy Live. So, and you can watch the broadcast whether you have a Facebook account or not. So if you've been wanting to recommend it to other people and get other people to watch, now they will be able to watch it whether or not they have an account on Facebook.
Great news.
Okay, and that's great news. And I'm so excited about the upcoming year because I've made the decision that new means different.
Yes.
So I'm asking myself, how many different ways can I express myself and live my life this year? One of the quick things that I'm doing is to go, I've done this way. What would it be like to do the opposite? Oh, I used to do it this way. What would it be like to do it that way, you know? And I got endless possibilities since I've learned to not see myself as guilty. So that opened up a lot of possibilities for things that we could experience and what we could experience together. So I want to end this year by expressing gratitude. Gratitude to everybody online. Gratitude to those of you in the room. Thank you so much. You are complete blessings in my life. You're friggin' awesome. So we're going to take 2 minutes. We're going to take two.
You're blessing. We're
going to take 2 minutes.
We got to do this differently.
It made a sound.
It popped.
It made a sound.
That's the sound of change.
That's the sound. That's the sound of change. That's the sound of change. All right. So, okay, this that means that I'm going to shout out.
Shout it out.
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Nope.
Okay, probably a fuse. Yes. Okay, now what we're going to do right now is what we're going to do. Now listen to this. Now remember this. First thing that you want to do is tell yourself this right here. Thank you, CJ, for narrating and being so loving and supportive to what I'm doing up here. Let's acknowledge CJ for helping me out. She's a blessing on so many levels. So today I will make no decisions by myself. Today I will make no decisions by myself. And what should happen? You should tell yourself what you want. Tell yourself what you want to experience. Tell yourself what you like to happen to you. And once you tell yourself what you like, and those of you online, thank you for tuning in. Then you're going to tell yourself, after you tell yourself what you like to experience, this is what you tell yourself. You say, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. At least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. Say what? At least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. What? At least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. At least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. And so I hope I have been wrong. Say what? And so I hope I have been wrong. Again, and so I hope I have been wrong. And so I hope I have been. Now I'd like for you right now to think of something that you've been telling yourself that's happening in your life that you don't feel complete peace about. I know it's going to be hard, but I want you to think of something in your life right now that you haven't been feeling peace about. Do you have it?
Yes.
And go. And so I hope I have been wrong. 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 I want another way to look at this. 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 And you go, perhaps there is another way to look at this. Got it? Perhaps. Perhaps there is another way to look at this. Perhaps there is another way to look at this. What? Perhaps there is another way. Look at somebody and say, perhaps there is another way to look at this. Perhaps there is another way to look at this. Perhaps there is another way to look. And then you go, what can I lose by asking?
What can I do?
What can I lose by asking? Say what? What can I lose by asking? Look at somebody. What can I lose by asking? Say, what can you lose by asking? Demola, what can you lose by asking? Say, hey, what can you lose by asking? Tell somebody, what can you lose by asking? Dingo, I ask for miracles now. 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 We ask for miracles now. We ask for miracles now. We ask for miracles now. Give it up, mighty companions. Happy New Year. You all are going to have the best year ever. As long as you hope you're wrong. Hugs are enveloping. Appreciate you online. And announcement. Here you go, baby.